Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Now before we begin, I do have to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these gorgeous high-res pics. Show Ryan some love in the comments below, because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Now if you are looking to pre-order either the Clone Trooper or the Clone Pilot, they are available with toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and a points-based reward system. Now we will be taking a look at both clones throughout the course of the video, starting off with the Phase 1 Clone Trooper. He does actually come with a Phase 2 helmet and a backpack, although neither of those were displayed at Secret Base, but just go in knowing that you get two different looks for the Trooper, Phase 1 or Phase 2. Now, all of the hands appear to be identical to what we've seen with the Coruscant Guards and the 501st, which makes perfect sense. I have been super excited for Hot Toys Clone Troopers. And finally, we have what I would consider a shiny. I'm all about that. I was saying from the very beginning, a basic, clean, white Clone Trooper is what I was after. Now, he does come with the usual array of weaponry, the smaller blaster carbine, as well as the rocket launcher. I would have absolutely loved to have seen a rocket blast effect that you could peg into the barrel, but they didn't do it with the other clones that already came with this weapon, so once again, this makes perfect sense. The sculpt is on point, it's super crisp and sharp, and the paint applications look stunning. I have all the confidence in the world that the final product will look exactly like this, at least in terms of the weaponry, because we have already seen them deliver on these pieces. Now, the display base is super simple. Would I have loved to have seen a topper that you could have put over the metal grate flooring to recreate the look of Geonosis? Yes, absolutely. But this does have a subtle reddish-brown tinge to the surface, so I guess you could say it's the inside of a gunship after or during the Battle of Geonosis. And I guess because this guy can be displayed as a Phase 2, if they had gone very Geonosis specific, it may not have worked as well, so they've kept it a little generic. Now the armor is weathered, but mostly on the lower half. The shoes start off the most weathered, then we get to the shin armor, it looks a little bit dirty and grimy, and then he gets cleaner as we go up. Now I'm perfectly fine with that. I am curious, let me know down below, would you have preferred an all-out battle-damaged weathered trooper just like the old-school veteran 1/6 scale clone? Or would you have preferred them go completely the other way? Brand new, pristine, shiny white armor. This guy sits somewhere in the middle. He's still relatively pristine up top, but you can see he's got a matte finish, so he's not really all that shiny, and he does have some washes down in the crevices. Now the undersuit, once again, is all fabric. That is absolutely a good thing because you can go crazy with your posing. If you want to have this guy kneeling down blasting some clankers, yep, absolutely, you can do that. Now he does come with the bigger blaster and it looks exactly the same as we have seen before. It is massive. Now it does appear as though he is wearing the backpack that I mentioned earlier, so the only accessory not displayed with him at Secret Base is the Phase 2 helmet. And now that I think about it, I think I know why. Some people pointed out that the blue stripes on the side pieces, the mandibles, I guess, of the helmet were missing from the prototype. So I guess they're hard at work painting those blue stripes on, that's why it wasn't on display. But yes, once again, he absolutely comes with both buckets. Now, the armor is held on with friction, simply by sliding on the outfit, with Velcro, and also with some elastic strapping, so it maximizes the articulation. I'm perfectly fine with how they've assembled all of the other clones that we've already received. They have gotten it down to a science at this point. I am very curious to see where they're going with this. Are we going to get a bunch more clones with the different colors and ranks? I would love to see the blue, green, and red marking clone troopers. they've already teased the yellow one in the pictures for this guy right here. So at the very least, I would expect to see that variant. Now in terms of the helmet, it does look as though they've shrunken it down ever so slightly compared to the 501st. That was one of my biggest complaints. The helmet looked huge. This one does still look slightly big, but don't forget there is supposed to be a dude's head inside this helmet. In the movie, they were able to shrink it down really small and compact because no one actually had to wear the helmet. There was not a single practical Phase 1 clone suit. They were all CGI. Whereas here, Hot Toys has to make it believable. Now, some people might not care and they'd say shrink it down as small and compact as possible, and yes, that would be the way I would go to get the look as spot on as you can, but this looks pretty darn good as well. Now, moving on to the clone pilot, this was a huge surprise for me. I did not expect to see a clone pilot. Yes, a bunch of different variants, sergeant, lieutenant, commander, etc., but never a pilot. I am so darn happy they decided to do this. I don't know what it is about this look for a clone trooper, but it just speaks to me. Plus, he comes with some pretty darn interesting accessories. A couple of thermal detonators, technically they could be droid popper grenades, plus some macro binoculars. I also love the color scheme. The red and the white is so very Star Wars. Now, he does come with what appears to be the exact same array of hands. No complaints there from me. It's a clone trooper. They're already sculpted in all of the requisite positions to hold all of the accessories. Now, this version also comes with a Phase 1 and Phase 2 bucket, although this time you are getting that chest box that's attached via hoses. Now, for me, the Phase 1 look is where it's at. I appreciate that they're giving us the Phase 2 helmet, but I've never really loved that kind of snout piece along the front. It's a very interesting design. The visor is very clearly a Phase 2 clone, but for me, this just doesn't speak to me. I once again turn it over to you though. Let me know which look you prefer, the Phase 1 or the Phase 2 helmet for the clone pilot. Now, the display base is sculpt-wise identical to the clone trooper, although there is significantly less orange withering. Now, it also has a slightly greenish tinge, as you can see compared to the base on the left here. That one's slightly darker and does have that reddish-brown weathering. Now, the armor is sculpt-wise once again identical. This time, though, there are significantly more scratches and weathering marks. Now, for me, I don't think this makes a ton of sense. The clone pilots are out of harm's way in the cockpits of the gunships, are they not? Therefore, they, in my mind's eye, would have been cleaner. But then again, this also looks really cool, and I can't deny having a couple of variants of the clones in the display is going to be a nice touch. Now, I don't exactly know how the chest box connects to the chest armor. Technically, if you wanted to, you could pop your regular Phase 1 clone helmet on this body and then pop the pilot helmet on the clone body, so you can pretty much make your perfect combination. Interestingly enough, Hot Toys doesn't actually paint any of this battle damage on the surface, it's all printed. That means it's going to be perfect every single time. Now, that's not to say there's no paint here, because there very clearly is. All of the bits and pieces where there are washes in the crevices is done traditionally. Now, once again, back to that chest box. It's a very interesting piece because it's something that's slightly different as compared to the 501st and the other clone trooper. Now, does that mean this is going to attach magnetically or with a peg? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But at the very least, he does have his head turned all the way to the side on display, and the chest box is fixed in position. But they do have to make it detachable so you can switch it with the Phase 2 version. Now, I do love the detail here. There are washers, there's some metallic silver, and you do have an actual printout on the little screen. You can also get a much better look at the elastic strapping holding the shoulder pads on, and the fabric suit underneath. This guy does come with a sidearm, the DC-17 if I'm not mistaken, and this works for me. He's a clone pilot. If he gets shot down and his gunship crashes and he jumps out of the cockpit, then he's going to need some weaponry, but he won't be using the absolutely massive blaster carbine. He'll have clone sidearms. Now, for me, I am perfectly happy with the array of accessories. To get something that looks as unique as this guy does with this helmet, yeah, I am very, very excited. I love that pop of yellow, plus the Republic symbol on the sides is a nice pop of red, so you are getting something that is going to stand out in the display. Now, the visor is a nice glossy black, but in Attack of the Clones, some clones had chrome visors. I do have to go back and watch the movie once again just to see which ones did and didn't, but this guy going with the glossy black will make him fit in perfectly with the rest of the clones that Hot Toys have already released. I love the hoses and I love the detail on the side and the back of this helmet. Now once again, if you do want to pre-order either of these guys, they are available from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and a points-based reward system. While you're down there, check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.